This is the second battle between AggonyDuck and Balor that I will be uploading, but it's actually the third battle in the series. So I'm going to ask Balor for the second battle because Panda Warrior didn't save the second battle for some reason. It's going to be Balor of Agartha commanding Rome again, and AggonyDuck commanding Galatia. It's the Battle of Armavir, and it looks like Balor is using the same composition as he did in the first battle, with a few important differences. He has 4 Hastati and 1 Sushi Hastati. You don't see that unit being used very often. Then he has a core consisting of, I believe, 6 legionaries, backed up by some Principe and veteran legionaries. 3 Equite units. For AggonyDuck, we have mercenary horse skirmishers, which is an interesting choice compared to bringing the Galatian raiders. They are cheaper, they have more missile damage, so they will be able to do more damage to enemy cavalry in skirmishing, but they will be far less effective. They only have 24 weapon damage, 4 charge bonus, and 9 melee attack. So these units are not effective as dual purpose units. They can still do some rare charges and incur the morale penalties. Then we have 6 Galatian legionaries. I believe we also have 6 Galatian swords, noble horse, mercenary Cappadocians, and 2 Galatian spears, 1 mercenary Syrian archer. He might have 2. Maybe it's just to in case Rome brought elephants. Balor is the attacker in this battle, and it looks like AggonyDuck has learned from the mistakes he did in deploying here and then moving up against Panda Warrior. He's going to keep his troops hidden in the forest, and this is potentially going to enable him to fight downhill against Balor. That's going to be massively important if he is to defeat this Roman infantry spam. Roman infantry spam against barbarian factions can be super effective, but I would still have liked to see Rome bring more cavalry to go for frontal cavalry charges and negate the huge charge bonuses of the legionaries and of the Galatian swords. Moving around his mercenary horse skirmishers early, Balor is just going to screen with Hastati, and it looks like fire at will is on for these units, and that's going to make AggonyDuck waste a lot of his javelins against units he doesn't really need to kill. These mercenary horse skirmishers need to go and snipe the Legatus, or they need to destroy Equites. Using them against Hastati is a complete waste of ammunition. It looks like we indeed only have 1 unit of mercenary Syrian archers. I'll just fast forward until these armies get a bit closer to each other. AggonyDuck moving forward with his troops. Balor is going to start moving through the woods. And again, terrain is massively important. If he's able to push AggonyDuck down from his hill, he should be able to go for downhill charges, and the uphill charges from the Galatian legionaries and the Galatian swords are going to be far less effective than them being able to charge downhill here against the Roman legionaries. Going into Testudo to protect from missiles, nicely done here. Duck is again wasting a lot of his ammunition on these legionaries that he could be using for the late game. Now they're out of Testudo, but he's still firing into the shielded side of the legionary troops. So again, a bit questionable in not going for the Equites and saving the ammunition, because he isn't killing anything with his horse skirmishers. And getting 41 missile damage plus the bonus against large against these Equites would have been so useful. Mercenary Syrian archers are going to eat javelins from the Hastati, pulling away his entire line. Strong infantry force moving through the forest here, and it's going to force AggonyDuck to rotate his lines. He's going to lose on the flanks here if he just takes this engagement head on. So he's going to have to reorganize a bit and choose a position of strength. Again, just wasting important ammunition against the Principe. Moving into javelin range and losing a lot of horse skirmishers. Very unnecessary this. He's going to move his Galatian legionaries up. They're sort of going to hit the Hastati. This unit of Galatian swords might be able to catch the Hastati, and getting the downhill charge should be very effective. But they are being pulled away from their own lines. Again, some good kiting being shown by Balor here. It looks like some of the unit wants to pull back and some of the unit wants to keep charging. So Duck lost more Galatian swords than he really would have needed to in this case. And neither of the players want to engage here because AggonyDuck would be surrounded. He has his legionaries here in the center and his swords on the flanks. Nice charge here by Equites, but they're going to get counter-charged by both mercenary horse skirmishers and the javelins from the Galatian spears. It's going to kill the Equites really, really quickly. So since the Roman infantry wasn't able to follow up well there, not a good charge by the Equites. Again pulling away, eating massive amounts of Pila on the Galatian swords. And very nice flanking done here by the Hastati of Balor. They're going to be able to catch these Galatian swords and do a lot of damage as they're pulling back. Roman troops coming in all across the line. Frontal charge by mercenary horse skirmishers, so that might mean that they were out of ammunition. And that AggonyDuck just wanted to stop the cavalry of Rome and to stop the legionaries from getting their charge. Not a good charge, and the mercenary horse skirmishers were largely useless in this battle. Pulling away here and then charging in with the cavalry, getting a nice rear charge on the legionaries and surrounding legionaries with several troops here. The engagement starts happening all across the line. Panda warrior getting AggonyDuck getting his mercenary horse skirmishers into the rear of the legionaries, and they're already in their morale is already starting to drop, but the mercenary horse skirmishers are getting destroyed. Massive engagements happening all across the battlefield. Rome just has more infantry units, but they are sort of getting blobbed up in places. And Rome is also losing its Equites quickly. The Galatian legionaries should do well against the legionaries of Rome. Legionaries are already wavering. Equites going down. Although this engagement started out very messily and not good for Duck, it looks like he's going to be able to outflank here due to this unit of Principe moving away, and that is bad for the Principe that are engaged in the center here. They're up against noble horse, up against Galatian legionaries, and this one unit of Galatian swords is going to incur morale penalties to a lot of these Roman troops. And if AggonyDuck wins the flank here, it's going to be very difficult for Rome to stop itself from being surrounded down here and from fighting in a disadvantageous terrain. Galatian swords charging into Principe. They are inferior units, but getting a charge is going to mean that they will kill a lot of Principe due to their massive charge bonus of 28. The Romans are wavering all across the flanks here. One more rear charge, and that could be the end of the entire Roman flank. Principe getting attacked in the rear, and that's going to help the Galatian swords to grind it out against the Principe. They're still losing slightly, but the Principe, when they were charged by the heavy horse or by the noble horse, they're going to start losing the engagement. Breaking a unit of Hastati, getting in for some more rear charges. Beautiful noble horse play here by AggonyDuck. AggonyDuck can be so dangerous with his cavalry, going for a high amount of rear charges. This requires a lot of micro and a lot of awareness, but at his best AggonyDuck can absolutely pull it off. So he's going to use his noble horse to break a total of 4 units. Principe should never lose to Galatian swords, but using his noble horse like that made all the difference. The Syrian archers are getting destroyed by Equites, but there are some Galatian swords in the mix that should be able to do a lot of damage to the Equites. And all of a sudden, Galatia has all of these units free on the flanks, able to get in and get good charges against the Roman units. The Legatus is pulling away from the noble horse, which is a smart move by Balor. But he is going to start running towards this unit of Galatian spears, pushing through the gap. Another unit of legionaries is going down. The Galatian legionaries in the center got some nice kills, but they are just sandwiched in between several Roman units. The Equites haven't been able to destroy the Syrian archers just yet, and getting charged like this should destroy the Equites very, very quickly. This game is super close. But there are many strong legionary units left on the field for Galatia. Also, the very important general is still alive. And if he's able to do his thing with rear charges against the Romans, it's going to be devastating. The mercenary Syrian archers routed, but they might come back. Galatian swords and Galatian legionaries are free to start attacking the legatus. And now there are Roman troops wavering all across the battlefield. The Galatian legionaries are holding strong, while AggonyDuck is going to be able to support a lot of these fights by sending in his troops from very advantageous positions in terms of terrain and in terms of getting flanks and rear charges going. Very important. Spear warriors, Galatian spears, going up against the legatus. The legatus is going to be able to move away. If Balor doesn't micro his legatus here, he's going to get charged by the spear warriors, losing some men on the legatus. Nice charge here by Galatian swords into veteran legionaries. Socii Hastati being pulled away to deal with the Galatian spears. The Galatian spears are going to get stopped by the Socii Hastati, so the legatus is safe for now. But look at the morale on these Roman units. They are not enjoying this battle one bit. They're getting charged again and again by the noble horse general of AggonyDuck, losing on the flanks, and at this point there isn't much that Rome can do, because they can't really pull out from this engagement in the center. The legatus might be able to do some more damage with rear charges and going up against the mercenary Syrian archers, but Rome is fighting uphill. The Galatians are going to be able to charge the Hastati downhill, and there's not much Rome can do now to stop this from happening. The charges against the Principe are going to be devastating. The Principe in the center are holding strong, getting massive amounts of kills. But there are Galatian troops pouring in against the Socii Hastati, pouring in against the Principe. The noble horse is chasing away the legatus, getting massive amounts of Pila in the face. That enables the legatus to get in for some important rear charges against the Galatian spears. But the exhausted Roman troops don't have a response to what Galatia has left on the field. Socii Hastati breaking. Principe should break soon. And when the Principe breaks and the balance of power starts to shift decisively in favor of AggonyDuck, there's not much these veteran legionaries can do against what's left on the field. The legatus is running straight into javelins, being engaged by Galatian spears, and that's it for the Romans. An awesome battle, my favorite battle so far in the series. It looked bad for AggonyDuck there for a while, but he was able to use terrain masterfully, was able to use his noble horse to get a lot of kills and break several Roman troops. Very, very nicely done here by AggonyDuck. Let's have a look at the kills. The Principe do very well. The veteran legionaries do well also. The legionaries do sort of okay, but look at this. Galatian swords, 261 kills, 129 kills, 139 kills. This unit of Galatian swords destroyed 2 units of Roman troops. And the Galatian legionaries, although they aren't elite swords, they were able to do amazingly well, mainly due to being supported by the noble horse of AggonyDuck. This just goes to show how important good cavalry usage still is against infantry spam. Because AggonyDuck was outmatched in infantry here. He was up against a total of 16 Roman infantry units, and he only had 6 mid-tier swords himself. He only had a total of 12 swords, but just using his noble horse the way he used it, and using the mercenary Cappadocian cavalry, he was able to negate the infantry advantage that Rome has in an awesome battle. So we're moving on to game 4 between AggonyDuck and Balor of Agartha. Balor of Agartha won the first 2 battles, and AggonyDuck needs to win this battle to still be in the finals and have a chance at the prize money. Thanks for watching. Strength and honor.